Okay, hello YouTube. This is the Greek Canadian coming at you again with the third and what I hope to be the final video of this series on C2012 S1 Ison, not what NASA says. This will be part 3 of the series. Okay, if you haven't seen parts 1 and 2 yet, have a look at those as well. Okay, I'm going to begin this video with going through some information from the SAO NASA Astrophysics Data System, okay, ADS, which stands for Astrophysics Data System, okay, the Physics of Comet Tails by John C. Brandt, Goddard Space Flight Center, Greenbelt, Maryland. Okay, now I'm not going to read this entire article, but I'm going to read parts that I believe are pertinent, okay. Calculations for a model nucleus, Hubner 1965, indicate a surface temperature in the range of 150 to 250 degrees Kelvin. Finally, the total mass loss from a large comet during a perihelion passage has been estimated at 1% of the total mass. This mass must come out of the nucleus. Now, 150 to 250 degrees Kelvin, just so we know what we're talking about, 150 degrees Kelvin is negative or minus 189.67 degrees Fahrenheit and minus 123.15 degrees centigrade. Okay, and if we make that to 250, that is minus 9 degrees Fahrenheit and minus 23.15 degrees centigrade. A very cold day in Canada. Continuing. The Coma is composed of meteoric dust and natural molecules in an essentially spherical volume centered on the nucleus. These constituents appear to be moving away from the nucleus with velocities of half a kilometer per second, estimated from concentric expanding rings of halos from Comet Halley. Bob Robinikoff, 1931. The Coma can be detected out to a distance of 10 to the 5th or 10 to the 6th kilometers, okay, from the nucleus. That 10 to the 5th and 10 to the 6th is about 100,000 to 1 million kilometers from the nucleus. The nucleus, the molecules CN, CH, NH, OH, and C3 and NH2 have been identified spectroscopically. Rosen, Swings, and Hugio, 1957, Arpigny, 1965. This list may well be seriously incomplete because the observations are limited to the visible spectrum. Okay, by the way, CN, by the way, is cyanide, in case you're wondering, and NH is ammonia. Is this why they're not releasing the spectroscopic data? Is this thing emitting large amounts of cyanide? If so, when we get blasted by its tail when it comes around after perihelion, and we are going to get blasted by its tail of 2 AU, according to NASA, it's going to have a tail that massive. That could, in and of itself, if we get blasted by a tail filled with cyanide, that could in and of itself be a extinction level event. Moving along. Rocket or satellite observations above the atmosphere would remove this rather serious uncertainty. If the velocity is constant and photo dissociation unimportant, the space density varies as R-2 and the surface brightness as R-1, provided that the opacity is small. This latter variation is approximately observed. Typical estimates for the total gas density are 10 to the 12th and 10 to the 14th molecules per centimeter cubed near the nucleus, and 10 to the 2nd, 10 to the 4th molecules cubed near the outer boundary. The Coma is visible during most of a perihelion passage of a comet. It is apparently quite small at distances of 4 AU or greater. A maximum size appears to be obtained at 1.5 to 2 AU. 1.5 to 2 AU. Together with the contraction of the coma as the comet approaches the sun. Now let's back up just a bit here. The coma is visible during most of a perihelion passage, okay, of a comet. It is apparently quite small at distances of 4 AU or greater. Okay, if the coma is quite small, the coma is apparently quite small at distances of 4 AU or greater. If that is true, okay, and the coma is quite small at 4 AU or greater, at 5.5 AU, okay, what is being measured here if it's not the coma? Diameter in metric units is 50,000 kilometers, 4 times Earth's diameter. And if the coma is quite small at 4 AU or greater, so at 5.5 AU, there should be very small coma or next to none. So what is being measured here? Okay, obviously it's not the coma. Obviously this is a very large object, okay, that is being measured. It's not the coma. So people stop saying it's the coma that's being measured, because apparently it's not, okay? And not only am I telling you this from NASA's own, okay, The Physics of Comet Tails by John C. Brandt, Goddard Space Flight Center, Greenbelt, Maryland. Okay, this is NASA's own internal documents, okay, writings on what comets are and what they're comprised of. Plus, I've also showed you that Wikipedia says the very same thing. The coma is generally made out of ice and dust. Water dominates 90% of the volatiles that outflow from the nucleus when the comet is within 3 to 4 AU. 3 to 4 AU, not 3 to 5 AU. Okay, and here again it shows you the very same thing. Okay, this is from their own internal. The coma is visible during most of the perihelion passage of a comet. It is apparently quite small at distances of 4 AU or greater. So at 5.5 AU, what is being measured? Question. So how many people really think that something okay, it says here, leading astronomers to estimate the comet's nucleus diameter is some 3 to 4 miles, 5 to 6 kilometers. Something that small is generating a coma that is 50,000 kilometers in diameter at 5.5 AU. That does not make sense, people. I mean, I wish it was different. I mean, I've showed you many different sources, from Wikipedia to NASA's own, okay, Astrophysics Data System, The Physics of Comet Tails, the author, Annual Review of Astronomy and Astrophysics, Volume 6 from NASA itself. Something doesn't jive. Something does not make sense. Okay? What is coming in is inherently much larger than what they want us to believe. Now, I believe that this thing is the harbinger. Okay, I don't think this is going to cause an extinction level event, although it is going to cause a great deal of damage. Okay, but I believe it only to be the beginning. I want to show you something else too. I found this in WikiSky, and I don't know how many of us will recognize, but I've never seen a star like that before. Have you? Well, maybe we haven't seen it yet. And the 4 objects that surround it that make up a kind of a star, crossbow, whatever you want to call it. That look familiar to anyone? I think this thing is approaching as well. And it's going to be approaching us after Ison. But again, for the third and final time that I'm going to be making a video on Ison, what is being measured here, which is an angular diameter of 15 arc seconds at 5.5 AU, is not the coma of a 3 mile or 3 to 4 mile wide comet. Okay, 3 to 4 miles? I don't think so. I really just don't think so. Something is not jiving. Something doesn't make sense. From their own internal writings and their own manuscripts, is something doesn't make sense. Okay? Something just doesn't make sense. Okay? Apparently quite small distances of for AU or greater. A maximum size appears to be obtained at 1.5 to 2 AU. So what is being measured? Question, answer. I don't have the answer because I don't have the spectroscopic data. I don't have radio telescope. I don't have access to $1 million equipment that I can do the research for myself and let you know. I have to depend on whatever is out there. And this is the third video showing you that they're lying, that something is not making sense from their own writings, okay, from their own data, astrophysics data systems, okay. Something doesn't make sense, people. This will be my last video. I will not be making any more. I don't know what this is, but it's out there in the sky, and if you can see this in WikiSky, that's where I took this snapshot from. Well, what is that? What does it look like to you? I know what it looks like to me. Do they know it's coming? I think they do. Are they trying to hide things from us? I think they are. Thanks for listening. This is the Canadian Greek. I'm out.